What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Owie, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Jeffrey Wright, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell, and John Turturro. Man, what a cast. I gotta say, just saying that list of names right there, everyone in this movie did an amazing job. I just want to say that right off the bat. There was not one weak link within the main cast of this movie. I'll just say this as well. Right off the bat, this is a damn good movie. This is a damn good Batman movie. I'm happy to say that I was not disappointed at all in this movie. This movie did live up to the hype for me. And at the same time, it's not my favorite Batman movie, nor would I say it's, I'll say it's probably my third favorite Batman movie as of right now. And I'm going to start off with the title character of the Batman, played by Robert Pattinson. And you're no longer Robert Pattinson, you are Robert Pattinson, aka the Batman. I thought Robert Pattinson nailed the role as the Batman. Within the first 10 minutes of him on screen, I was like, okay, he's Batman. Robert Pattinson's Batman. I believe it. I buy it. Let's continue on with this movie, because I'm in. Now, with that said, there are still a few flaws with Robert Pattinson's Batman, but we gotta take into account that this is a younger version of Batman. He's in his second year of crime fighting, so he's a little reckless. He's kind of got a death wish when it comes to fighting and how he approaches every dangerous situation he's in. He lacks finesse in fighting compared to Ben Affleck's Batman or the level-headedness of Christian Bale's Batman. This is a younger, more mad, brooding Batman. And this will also be the most Batman we've ever gotten in a live-action movie. For the whole movie, Robert Pattinson is pretty much donning the cape and the cowl. We get very little moments with him as Bruce Wayne, which his Bruce Wayne was my main problem with Robert Pattinson's performance in this movie. He's too brooding, he's too emo, as you would say. His Bruce Wayne's still trying to figure things out, so I hope in future Batman movies they add a little bit more levity to his Bruce Wayne. He's got to find that right balance of being Bruce Wayne and Batman. You can't be dark and brooding all the time. It gets annoying, but yeah, that would be probably my main flaw with Robert Pattinson's performance. But like I said, Robert Pattinson is the Batman. That's all I could ask for. I just want someone to play the Batman and make the audience and myself feel like we're watching The Dark Knight on screen, and add Robert Pattinson to the list of great Batmans. He did a great job in this movie. He looks like Batman. He even sounds like Batman. He has a pretty solid Batman voice. It's slightly better than Bale's. He talks a little too soft at times, but I would say his Batman voice is slightly better than Bale's. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. She's really good. She's probably the second best Catwoman out there, right behind Michelle Pfeiffer, of course, who I don't think any other Catwoman will be able to touch that performance as Michelle Pfeiffer did in Batman Returns. But Zoe Kravitz is good. And Jeffrey Wright is great in this movie as well. I really enjoyed him as Jim Gordon. His Jim Gordon and Batman definitely have a strong relationship in this movie. They have a solid bromance. They spend a lot of time together in this movie solving the mystery of the Riddler. So I like the amount of screen time that Jeffrey Wright had in this movie. I'd say he's probably the second lead. He's in this movie a lot, and I definitely loved his chemistry with Batman. And on to the villains. The villains in this movie were amazing. Let's just start off with the Riddler. I really love Paul Dano's performance as the Riddler. He is creepy, he is scary, he's psychotic. Paul Dano knocks it out of the park. He is such a menace and such a presence in this movie that one flaw I had is he sort of disappears in the second half of the movie. Where we deal with another storyline, and the Riddler storyline kind of takes a back seat. And that's one major flaw I had with the movie, is when that part happened, because I was so invested in the Riddler storyline. Anytime the Riddler was on screen, he's probably in the top 3, definitely top 5 favorite villains. I'd put him behind Heath Ledger's Joker and Tom Hardy's Bane as my third favorite villain. I love Paul Dano's performance. Colin Farrell as the Penguin, he did great as well. I mean, under all that prosthetics, you would never tell it's Colin Farrell. So kudos to the makeup team for just making, a good-looking actor like Colin Farrell disappear into this sleazy scumbag of Oswald Cobblepot. Yeah, he's such a sleazeball in this movie, but I love Penguin. They definitely set up some good storylines for his character going into the future. And John Turturro's Falcone, he was good in this movie as well. You didn't see a lot of him, they didn't advertise John Turturro as Falcone a lot in the movie trailers or whatnot. And I can see why. He's just a kind of like a regular mob boss, but he's definitely an intimidating mob boss in this movie. He's got a different sort of vibe compared to the typical Gotham mobsters we've seen on screen, but I thought we focused a little too much with a big chunk of the story with Falcone that I didn't have that much emotional investment in. I thought we could have done a better build up to that storyline. I don't want to spoil too much. But yeah, he was good in this movie as well. He was a solid villain. I mean, there's three main villains in this movie, and I think they did a good job at balancing all those characters together to go up against Batman and our heroes. One character that I wish we got to know a little bit more, and I wish we got to felt more of the dynamic between characters, and that's Bruce Wayne and Alfred. I thought Alfred needed a little bit more screen time. They kind of had like a Michael Caine, Christian Bale relationship, just a lot more rockier. But I wish we would have got a little bit more screen time with Andy Serkis, because I did like him as Alfred. I just don't think we got enough of him in this movie. And the action in this movie delivered. There's not a lot of big action set pieces, but there's, little action scenes sprinkled throughout the movie. I like that a lot. We do get a lot of slower moments where mysteries are unraveling, but we get, a little action scene thrown here and there. So it never gets too boring or too slow in this movie. And I do wish that Batman utilized more of his gadgets. He does use a certain gadget in this movie that I've never seen in any of the movies, cartoons, or video games. So that was pretty damn impressive. The Batmobile in this movie, oh my god. This Batmobile is not my favorite. The Tumbler is still my favorite version of the Batmobile. But I will say that the intro that the Batmobile had in this movie was completely badass. What an intro that the Batmobile had in this movie. That thing is a monster. Not my favorite, but it's impressive. And that action scene with the Penguin, the car chase, phenomenal. The sound design, the sound in this movie, the music is a 10 out of 10. Go watch this movie in the biggest, loudest movie theater that you could find, because you're going to want to experience the sound and just the best sound system. I mean, it's amazing, the sound and the visuals. And the visuals in this movie. You could pause this movie at any point in time and you could have just a masterful art piece, printed out, posted on the wall. You'll have an awesome painting in your living room. I mean, there's so many wide shots where you get to see what's happening in the city, in a room. So many wide shots. I loved it. And the cinematography knows it's good. Sometimes it'll linger on a shot for a little long, and I was okay with that because 100% of the time in this movie, I was just like floored by what I was looking at. I was like, wow, this is a great looking movie. And they really took advantage of the setting of Gotham. Gotham in this movie is a character in itself. It's a living, breathing entity in this movie. There's so many extras, so many practical effects that they use that Gotham just felt real. It just looked like the Gotham I've always wanted to see in a live action movie. It had like the old, decrepit, rundown part with them trying to build newer stuff over it. So you just get this mix of, old, modern, and future. I mean, it's such a great looking city. It really reminded me of Blade Runner at times. So yeah, Gotham, this is the best Gotham in any live action by far. I love this version of the city. And you put those visuals to the musical score of this movie, Michael Giacchino knocked it out of the park with the Batman theme. I really love the Batman theme of this movie. It's so intense. It's whenever it pops up on screen, I just got goosebumps. So I really love the theme of this movie. Oh, what else can I talk about? I'm gonna do a more spoiler review because, like I said, I just saw this movie like 45 minutes ago. It's still fresh in my head. But yeah, like I said in the earlier part of this review, it's definitely not my favorite. The rewatchability in this movie isn't gonna be as strong as Batman films like The Dark Knight and Batman Begins. I could put those movies on any point of the day, nighttime, morning. I'm always in the mood to watch The Dark Knight. But yeah, this movie doesn't have that rewatchability. It's more of a mystery. It's a slow burn at times, and then you get a big action set piece, and then it slows back down again, and you're unraveling more in the mystery. So in terms of rewatchability, this is not going to have that like the Nolan trilogy, any of the Nolan trilogy, even The Dark Knight Rises. But this is a damn good movie. I mean, I was so damn impressed. I'm going to have to rate The Batman a 9.2. Whew, I felt like I went through a lot in that review right there, but achieved so little because there's so much more I want to go over with this movie, but I'm going to save a lot of that for my spoiler review, which will be coming out later on this week, so stay tuned for that. But that's my review of The Batman. Post down in the comment section down below of what you thought of the movie yet. Have you seen it? What would you rate it? Let me know. So if you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to see me again, hit that subscribe button as well. And I will see you all next time. See ya!